Alright guys, so welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video along with Super Vegeta getting his EZA yesterday, or the strength one at least. This AGL one all the way from 2018 of course got an EZA, and so did in Android 16, who will be testing out as well. I'm still battling illness, but we're just going to soldier through. He is indeed rainbowed, he's been rainbowed for years, so this additional crit build we've got going on may not be the best for him, but it's the one I've got. Haven't even started link leveling him. But he is indeed rainbowed. We do have him on the exact same team we ran the strength one in yesterday's video, and I thought, why not just run it again? And we've also been supered. We got super attack literally on the first turn on Trunks. So a big part of his kit is the more HP you lose, or the less HP you have, the more damage reduction this man gets. And we pretty much have the majority of it right now. So Vegeta starts with a base 30% damage reduction. He'll gain 20% extra damage reduction when HP is 70% or less, which we've got. An additional damage reduction of 20% when HP is 50% or less, which we've got. Which immediately puts us up to what? In total, 70% damage reduction. And also an extra 20% damage reduction when HP is 30% or less at the start of turn. Which I'm pretty sure we've also got. Which means we have 90% damage reduction right now. Which means he's kind of almost invincible. Now, linking wise, what's the best we can get him? If we put him in the middle. But it's fine. We'll leave it like this. Actually, no. We should be... Yeah, we should be fine. Because Cell's sealed as well. So if we leave him here... He's on a 282k attack stat, 194k defense. We are going to take all of these with margin Vegeta, and then we'll give you these, and we'll give the transforming Vegeta these orbs down here. Now, I'm actually really curious to test this AGL Super Vegeta out like properly. Whether that's going to be against Shadow Dragon and Mega, or even Fusions and Masu, just to see how he does, because the potential is there. Damage-wise, only 4.6 million. I mean, damage-wise, he isn't really there too much. Big crit, though, and an additional. So a 4.6 and a 4.99 million attacks. That okay, he's popping off right now. 3 super attacks, 5.3. Triple crit. And of course, he's taken 81 damage on a normal because he has about 90% damage reduction. So let's not forget as well, on Super, he will cause free damage to the enemy. He does seal, which you're only going to be able to utilize probably barely, but here we can actually do it. And he does raise attack for 9 turns. And he raises attack by 50%. So we're actually only 1 turn deep of him raising his attack. We still have 8 more turns of this guy raising his attack. Yeah, it starts the turn with attack and defense plus 150. And then... do I need to pop an item? No, surely we're fine. Vegeta and Trunks are chilling in slot 1. Sword of Hope Trunks is type advantage. King Vegeta should be fine, right? I mean, the longer we can maintain our HP this low, the more we're going to keep, like, all of that damage reduction. Yeah, he starts the turn with attack and defense plus 150%, and then gains an additional attack and defense plus 100% when performing a super attack. And if HP is 50% or less when performing a super attack, he'll perform a critical hit, which is why we crit 3 times in a row, because our HP is way less than 50% or below. So do remember that if you do have your HP at 50% or less, not only are you going to be getting a ton of damage reduction, but you're also going to guarantee crit, which means you're actually going to do some solid damage, even though he's not putting out the biggest numbers, which is understandable. He is a side EZA. But you're also going to have a ton of damage reduction on top of that. So all in all, his damage output, while the numbers aren't like 10, 15, 20 mil, crit-wise, especially if he's doing multiple super attacks, he's doing some fairly solid damage, if we're being real. Especially for a side EZA. Like, let's not forget, this isn't LR, this isn't a Dokkan Fest, this is a side EZA. He also launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack, so we must have actually got fairly lucky the previous turn along the dupe system as well. I mean, we're still going to keep it, so I'm just going to slide him in slot 1. I mean, we're much... in fact, I'm going to pop this straight away, because then he's actually going to be a lot better linked up. Yeah, already. 705k attack stat. Again, bearing in mind, we still have about 8 turns if this man's supering. And we're already on over 700k. Now, against Fusion Zamasu, you're probably not going to have the time to do this. I mean, if you're going to try him against Fusion Zamasu, you're not going to have the time to do this. Against an Omega, you probably would have the time to do this. Or get close to it. Funny enough, he actually weakens regeneration as well. He actually weakens it. As already mentioned, base damage reduction of 30%, which is actually quite nice. You know, remember, he doesn't have any defensive SA effects to go with that, so that is just kind of pure damage reduction on just shy of 200k defense. But then this is where, of course, the HP conditions kick in of just getting multiple or just insane amounts of damage reduction end up coming in. Which is pretty much the less HP remaining, the more damage reduction you are going to get. As already mentioned, he starts with a base of 30, and that will keep going up the more HP you lose. So you're going down to 70% HP or less. That's 20% damage reduction. You go down to 50% HP or less. That's an extra 20. And then if you get down to 30% HP or less, that's an extra 20 as well. Now, realistically, maintaining your HP at 50% or less, even before you get to the 30% HP or less, maintaining your HP at 50% or less in the type of content that we have, whether that is on Global Red Zone Fusions and Marsu, that is, you know, Shadow Dragon and Mega with all the AoEs, the 9th anniversary content. Kind of mad that I'm talking about this, but that is the potential of this as a side EZA. In like the meaningful content that is incredibly difficult, it's not easy maintaining your HP that low. So realistically, always having him with like 90% damage reduction, all of his damage reduction buffs, is probably hardly ever going to happen. But if it does, 90% damage reduction, that's almost just full damage reduction. That's almost 100%. That's almost to the point of nothing is going to touch this man. Which is kind of crazy to think. So we have actually recovered some HP. We also do have King Vegeta's support. So we are, what, 2-3 turns? I think we're on the 3rd turn now. Because again, he raises attack by 50% for 9 turns. We're on 1.8 million. And 233k defense. That is with some of King Vegeta's support. But I can't lie, he's cooking right now. He really is. I mean, I think we might have lost 20% of our damage reduction, so we're on 70, but that's still a lot. Yeah, still taking double digits. Still taking double digits on normals. We're up to 7.8 mil. Again, with some support, we're up to 7.8 mil. 8.2. Can we get the triple from the potential system? We can't, but that's fine. Do you know what? For a side EZA, it's actually really good. Really good. Also, all allies will gain key +1, attack and defense +25%, which is quite nice, and an additional key +2 and attack and defense +25% for AGL's strength and fizz type allies. So this doesn't actually exclude himself. He will gain key +3 and attack and defense +50% for himself. If you were to say float him, you could also give that to the strength Super Vegeta. Trying to think of some other units that could actually benefit from this. Sort of hope Trunks could benefit from this. I mean, if we look at his categories, let's take a look at full power. Full power straightforward Goku could benefit from this. Kai Goku could benefit from this. Is it super? I don't think it's even super class allies. I think it's just all allies. Yeah, all allies. So that means Golden Frieza could benefit from this if you were going to use him. Birdku. Orange Piccolo. Beast Gohan probably would get there eventually when we get him for the 9th anniversary. SSB Vegeta when he gets his EZA. I mean, a lot of units can actually benefit from this guy's support. And of course, he also weakens regeneration as well, as I mentioned. So, do you know what? For a side EZA, he actually has quite a lot going for him. Like, he really does have quite a lot going for him. Like, numbers-wise, he starts out quite low. You know, that guaranteed crit is only going to happen if, you know, you get down to HP, your HP down to 50% or less, which I know that's kind of happened by chance here. So we're actually, good thing we're kind of recovering a lot of our HP back now. Because again, realistically, how often are you going to maintain your HP, you know, at 50% or less? 70 down to 30% or less. Like, it's not going to happen that often. Like, you could get there, but actually maintain it. It's not that easy, considering how hard, like, the top-end enemies hit. But if you can manage to maintain it, if you can get there, having, like, 70% damage reduction in total, even if you don't have the full 90, still ridiculous. If you have the full 90, that's just stupid. But, I mean, we're only, what, 3 turns in of him supering, and he's actually putting out some good numbers now. Along with if your HP is at 50% or less, having a guaranteed crit as well. Again, like Strength Super Vegeta, he's the B-Tech version of that. That's good damage. But I can't imagine too many runs, too many events where you're actually going to be able to super attack a full 9 turns with this man. We're up to 1.26 million with no support now. And we're actually still I've been talking about how difficult it is to maintain. Realistically, against the top end difficult enemies, maintain our HP this low to make sure he has all of his damage reduction, or at least the majority of it, is hardly ever going to happen. The funny thing is, this isn't going to do anything. Or isn't going to do a lot. See, we're dropped down to 7.2, but I mean 7.2 mil with a guaranteed crit right now because of what our HP started with. Good. As I said, the potential with this unit is there. As I said, with the amount of damage reduction you can get, guaranteed crit, where you can get his attack stat too, and the support, he has a lot going for him. Realistically, again, he's still got quite a bit of damage reduction. You know, if you get your HP down to 70% or less, that's still 50%, which is still decent. But I feel like the holes will show, a few of the flaws will show, just because he is a side EZA. He doesn't have that much defense, as we've seen. Start a turn, not even 200k defense, but 50% damage reduction is still good. If you can actually manage to maintain your HP at 50% or less, that's 70, which is insane. And then, you know, you'll miss out on the guaranteed crit if your HP isn't, like, maintained again at 50% or less. But as I said, the potential is there with this unit. If you can tick all those boxes and have your HP that low and manage to maintain it, this guy's insane for a side EZA. As I said, damage-wise, he can get there. Guaranteed crit means he's always doing some very good damage, even before your 9 turns deep of super attacks. The possibility you can get to with the amount of damage reduction this man can have is dumb, but just in general, the amount he can have even before you get all of it is still very good. The support is good. I want to see more from this unit. I want to see how he performs without us being half dead the entire time. I'm kind of glad we got to saw it rather than just steamroll through and, you know, barely lose any health. If it does happen in the difficult content, you can lose HP like that, but you can also just die like that. That's the risk factor involved. Against like a Mega Shenron, which is a longer fight, we could probably somewhat get close to raising his attack for 9 turns, and we could start seeing some big boy damage, because we got to like 7-8 mil. But as I said, the potential is very much there with this unit. It's just very, very risky, and as I said, I'm very intrigued to use him and see how he does where he's not in the best of circumstances. But for a side EZA, I'm actually impressed. He's very, very good. But you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. And peace.